In 2004, a 77-year-old teacher was savagely attacked and consumed by a large great white shark in front of many witnesses in South Africa. This is the terrifying true story of Tina Webb's fatal encounter with one of the most feared predators that inhabit our oceans. This is ultimate misfortune. This story takes place in False Bay of Fishhook Beach, which is situated in the Western Cape region of South Africa. Crystal clear blue waters and a lovely stretch of white sand beaches are just two of the many attractions that can be found in this breathtaking area, which is bordered by amazing mountains. Swimmers, sunbathers, and people who enjoy participating in water activities consider the beach to be a popular destination. In addition to being a coastal neighborhood of Cape Town, Fishhook is frequently visited by commuters, retirees, and holidaymakers alike thanks to its location. The undeniable beauty of South African coastline, on the other hand, is sometimes referred to as a facade by certain people. This may be because the beauty of the coastline masks the potential threat that is posed by the aquatic residents. It is well known that the waters in this specific region are home to a number of deadly marine animals, the most notable of which is the great white shark. There have been reports of sightings of these sharks occurring rather frequently in these seas. This list also includes bronze whaler sharks, bull sharks, and tiger sharks, among other shark species. It is not surprising that Fishhook Beach is plagued by an average of 7 attacks on humans by great white sharks each year, many of which result in death. This is due to the fact that it is generally known that their common prey items, such as Cape fur seals, are particularly numerous in these seas. On November 13, 2004, a group of local fishermen were making their way back to Kalk Bay with a substantial haul of fish that they had caught during the course of the day. Among the many species of fish that they have brought in is a large school of steenbras. Due to the fact that the school of these big fish is so furious, the surface water appears to be boiling as a result of their thrashing. In accordance with the fishing guidelines of Kalk Bay, steenbras are a protected species that must be released without delay in the event that they are taken by accident. On the other hand, the fishermen are not aware that they have successfully captured a big school of them in their nets. In addition, as a result of all the recent fishing activity, the water is filled with a substantial pool of fish blood all over the place. The crew eventually pulls their nets out of the seas and realizes that they have accidentally hauled some of the illegal fish. This realization comes after they had navigated the perilous waters of the ocean for about 1.5 kilometers. The experienced fishermen, who are well aware of the regulations for fishing, make the decision to take a break and release the fish back into the bay during their break. They are completely unaware of the fact that a tremendously large great white shark has been enticed by the aroma of their abundant catch and is following them from no more than a few meters away. While they are working to free the steenbras, everything appears to be going according to plan. All of a sudden, the party observes a giant fin breaking the surface of the water adjacent to their boat. On its own, the sense of smell accounts for over 2/3 of a shark's brain. As stated in an article published by sharktrust.org, sharks are able to detect even a teaspoon of blood in every 375,000 liters of water that they are exposed to on average. In addition, this indicates that a large pool of fish blood in the waters close to a shark's area is nothing more than an open invitation for a feast. It was confirmed by each and every one of them that this shark was the largest that they had ever seen. The length of her was thought to be somewhere about 20 feet, or possibly even longer. Typically, a shark of that size wouldn't be interested in such small fish, and the men understood that she would much prefer to chow down on a larger marine creature such as the aforementioned multitude of Cape fur seals that the bay contained. According to oceanconservancy.org, white sharks are one of the largest sharks in the ocean. They can grow to more than 20 feet long and weigh more than 2.5 tons. That makes them the largest predatory fish in the world. Their bodies are designed for hunting. White sharks have an excellent sense of smell and sharp, serrated teeth that are perfect for capturing and tearing apart prey. Unlike most shark species that are cold-blooded, white sharks are warm-blooded, meaning that they can raise their internal temperature above the temperature of the water. This allows them to have more energy to burst forward while hunting, and they can reach speeds of 35 miles per hour. The men continued to watch as the sharks circled their boat, keeping their gaze fixed on the school of fish that was being held captive, but to their surprise, the shark did not proceed to attack anything. The enormous white male made a sudden turn and, much to the astonishment of the men, started going in the direction of Fishhook Beach on a day that was extremely busy in the waters. This occurred after the beast had completed a few more rounds around the boat. It was already 7 o'clock in the morning, and Fishhook Bay had just reopened after being closed for 2 days due to federal regulations. Tina Webb, a retired English teacher who was 77 years old, gets ready to go for her daily swim, which is a practice that she has been following with consistency for the past 17 years. In order to maintain her fitness, Tina would swim at the bay on a regular basis, at least 6 times a week, and she would devote 30 to 45 minutes to each session. Nevertheless, on this particular day, she is completely unaware of the fact that she has taken off her swimsuit and put on her red favorite cap for what would be the last time she would ever do either one of those things. Tina gracefully paddles her way along the surface of the crystal clear blue seas as she begins to make her normal laps parallel to the beach line. This occurs as she dives into the water and swims out against the shore for approximately 60 yards. Because the weather is calm and there is a gentle wind blowing from south to southeast, there are no whitecaps to mask the sound of her splashing arms and legs. This is, of course, a powerful attractant for curious sharks, which are also very capable of sensing small vibrations in the water, which is a technique that they frequently use to locate wounded fish at the surface. Tina is one of the only 2 persons who are currently in the water, despite the fact that there were approximately 30 to 40 people available at the shore at the time. It is around 25 yards distant from her when she suddenly comes face to face with a massive fin that breaks the surface of the water. Tina, who is completely unaware of what is going on around her, makes the transition from the backstroke to the breaststroke, and in the process, she unwittingly places herself directly in front of the shark. As soon as she realizes that she is staring into the gray head and beady eyes of an enormous great white, she is paralyzed with fear and stops moving in an instant. It is at this point that it violently breaks out of the water in front of her, which causes a surge of adrenaline to flood through her veins. Tina makes a valiant effort to swim away from the shark to the best of her abilities, but it is obvious that there is no way that she can outswim a shark, especially one that is so enormous and powerful. The gigantic white creature charges at her at a pace of around 100 yards per minute and rams her in the middle, delivering a devastating bite to her belly. This occurs before she has the opportunity to give out another scream. After that, the shark frees Tina from its jaws, and spectators on the beach who are astonished watch in terror as the water around Tina turns a blood crimson color. The shark reappears and bites her once more at the same place of her torso, causing her gut to pierce open and her intestines to stream out of her body in a sight that appeared to be taken straight from a horror film. This happened within a matter of seconds. Following this, the great white shark makes a swift rotation around Tina's lifeless body and then returns to attack her from the opposite direction. Tina's limp body is then ensnared by the great white shark's jaws, and it proceeds to violently thrash her back and forth. This is a tactic that great white sharks frequently employ in order to take chunks of flesh and fat off of their prey. The witnesses from the beach said that the shark released Tina once more and then proceeded to swim in circles about her approximately 3 times before ultimately seizing her for the final time. This occurred despite the fact that it was quite likely that she had already succumbed to her wounds at this point. The moment she reached this point, it drew her beneath the surface and she was never seen again. Eyewitnesses, immobilized by terror and despair, were unable to do anything but watch the shark's dorsal fin slash through the waves for the final time before it eventually sank into the depths, leaving behind a pall of dread that would continue to linger for a considerable amount of time after it had left. The hunt for Tina's remains included the deployment of a patrol craft from the South African Navy, as well as 2 rescue boats from the National Sea Rescue Institute. On top of that, a red SkyMed helicopter was dispatched to the location. In the end, the officer in the helicopter was able to locate the shark in the vicinity of Clovelly, which is close to Fishhook, after spending many hours investigating the seas surrounding the assault site. Following in the footsteps of many who came before him, he said that this great white shark measured at least 20 feet in length and was even larger than the helicopter that he was piloting. There was no evidence of Tina, other than her red swimming cap, which had been floating near the location of the original attack. This was the only thing that could be located of her, despite the heroic efforts of the search and rescue crews. An unintended photograph of Tina was taken by a photographer who was attempting to take a picture of the landscape in Fishhook Bay only a few days before she passed away. It was said by her family and friends that even though she was no longer with them, this photo served as a beautiful remembrance of her. It was a picture that would help them reminisce the good times that she would have when she would return home from her daily swim wearing her favorite red swim cap and her white bathrobe. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share the channel, and click the bell to get notifications. Tell us about your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching Ultimate Misfortune.